David Kain, again, a great automotive family background. His father was president of NADA, ran a Ford dealership in Lexington, Kentucky, where he started the internet department, learned so much about it that Ford brought him in, and he co-founded Ford Direct. A somewhat avid bike rider, switching from the road to the mountain. Ladies and gentlemen, nice morning welcome from Denver for Mr. David Kain.
Thank you, Charlie. Good morning. So what I'm going to do is leverage Joe's idea to get everybody online, and we're going to do a Kahoot this morning. So if you'll get your phone out and just follow the directions on the screen. All you need to do, you don't need to download an app, just go to kahoot.it and enter in the number on the screen. Pick a suitable nickname and we'll take off and see how well you guys do. Joe, wouldn't it be the first speaker of the day? Got to make you feel good, though, to take that mic off. All right, there we go. Well, you guys are quick. All aboard that's going to be aboard, we'll go ahead and kick off here in just a few moments. One thing I love about Kahoot is that awesome music. This is officially the most Kahooters I've ever had on the screen, so I'm impressed by that. All right, let's go ahead and get going. 5 more seconds. We're going to talk about outworking, outsmarting, and outperforming, the keys to digital success. We'll start with a bunny question. The Kentucky Derby is a cool hat, a rat race, or a horse race? I'm from Lexington, where all those babies are born. 2 more seconds. All right, whoa. I like that. Well, we've got a couple of derby hats I'll bring around here in just a moment. And it is kind of a rat race, so we'll go ahead now that you're ready. Is the leader. If you don't know how Kahoot works, it's who's the fastest and who's correct. So speed thrills, as we'll learn from Alan tomorrow. So let's go ahead and get to the real questions. In order to get the sales team to buy in, who has to buy in first? All right, so it wasn't a trick question, but 60 of you all put the dealer principal. So I grew up in a dealership, and the easiest person to get to buy-in is the dealer principal. And for the last 15 years, my company has gone around and helped dealerships set up internet and BDC operations. Dealer principals are laydowns. They'll buy into anything. It's the sales and desk managers that are the impediment to your overall internet and digital and BDC success. So congratulations for those who put that. I was tempted to make them both correct answers, but then it occurred to me, my role as dealer principal of the Kain Automotive Group, when I was in it, I bought everything. Anybody who came in with any kind of a pitch, and I'd try to go get my team engaged, and I'd try to get the sales managers engaged, and they always put a block up. So definitely what we're finding out is the sales managers at your dealership. So I would encourage all of you all who are in a store to go back and have a good sit down with your sales and desk managers and ask them how they truly feel about digital, and are they pulling Are they pushing or are they holding back? Ultimately, I think you'll find out that they are the ones who are going to be most fearful of the digital transformation and the utilization of some of the technologies you'll hear about. All right, is still the leader. Yanni is closing in. Jamie, good job. Jamie and CB are neck and neck, and John is in the hunt. Let's move on. Lead-by-lead management is critical to ensure excellent process results. Okay, so my belief is that lead-by-lead management is critical. It is so amazing when we look at this digital environment. You see desk managers, sales managers, even BDC and internet managers do a one-day review, or they'll review it the half day. Can you imagine the sales floor operating the same way? It wouldn't happen. Nobody walks till the manager talks. That's the right strategy. What we're learning is, in the internet world, nobody should hang up until the manager talks. And we're streamlining operations so that the managers are involved in every single lead. And if it's not a supervisor in the pure sense of the words, it's Charlie is my supervisor and I am Charlie's supervisor. So we might have a change of voice, but what we really want to do is to make sure we've got lead-by-lead management and every lead gets our full effect, just like the floor does. All right, so dropped out. Kirk took the lead. Yanni climbed up. Yorgito, if I didn't butcher that, Jamie and Mike P. And 16 players just hit an answer streak of 3. Let's keep going. Which tactic generates the most appointments in a digital operation? Which tactic generates the most appointments? So text messaging is getting the most engagement, but it doesn't generate appointments at the rate that we would wish it would. 98% of text messages get opened, whereas only about 20% of emails from a commercial business to a consumer actually get opened. But what really drives appointments is that human interaction. And when you think about how humans interact, and I applaud Joe for having that chat bot look like it was a live conversation, but a phone dialogue is the most intimate of human communication, even more than in person, because in person we may not be paying attention, but on the phone we're utilizing all of our sense of hearing to be able to understand the subtleties, and we can hear when someone is laughing, we can sense when they're not paying attention, when they've put a smile on their face, and how we're engaging with them. So when it comes to getting a customer to a point, everything leads to the phone call. The email needs to sell a phone call. The text message needs to sell a phone call. No doubt, an email can be really good on-ramps to a telephone call, but when you want someone to be able to come into your dealership, definitely it comes down to the phone call. All right, so Orgito went to the top of the list. Mike P. and Kirk and Jamie and Coop. Oh my God, Coop is in the hunt. All right, 7 players just hit an answer streak of 4. Let's keep going. To ensure a high engagement rate, it is best to call within which time frame? The high engagement rate. That would be correct. In fact, InsideSales.com did a study, and there's a 10x drop-off in engagement and in reaching the customer if you take more than 5 minutes. 10 times fewer connections if you take more than 5 minutes to reach out to the guest. A couple of weeks ago, I was with the Detroit Trading Company, and they run the BDC call center for Carvana and CarMax. And they try to reach out to the customer in 28 seconds and no more than 2 minutes. And for years, I've been teaching the 2-minute drill. So you read the lead for the first 2 minutes, and you get ready to respond within 5 minutes. We call it 5 minutes and forever. Well, it still works. The Detroit Trading Company responds in about 3 minutes, and they have a really high engagement rate. What they're missing in some cases is their team member doesn't have the knowledge and the ability to start that dialogue. So what we're finding is if you can reach out quicker, even if you don't do a really spectacular job at the beginning, you stand a much better chance of letting your customer, your competitor, hear a busy signal while you're in a position to where you've reached out to the customer first. So good job, and definitely 11 to 15 minutes would put you far behind most of your competitors, so be aware of that. So Mike P. still on the top, Kirk, Jamie, Coop, and Coop moved up, and Ben is behind him. To generate more appointments from calls, use what? Do we use headsets? Do we use call guides? Do we use FaceTime connections? What should we use? Well, it's definitely call guides. And what's interesting about it, when I started selling cars in 1982, call guides were normal. We all learned them. And nowadays, it's so frustrating when you go into a dealership, nobody has a call guide. Everybody is saying, well, they just let me wing it. I'm a natural conversationalist. I get to have that dialogue. Well, if I could encourage everyone in this room to go back so you can go forward, we've got to start improving the engagement rate while we're on the phone with the customer by giving your team a framework with which to do a good job. So McDonald's doesn't risk anything with their French fries. They teach everybody how to make them the right way. When it comes to generating an appointment, a call guide is simply a recipe for success, and each of your team members could benefit from that, whether they're a seasoned veteran or whether they're a fresh newbie right into the dealership. So let's move on. Mike P. holding the lead, Jamie, Kirk, Go Tribe, and Coop. You were a little slow on that one. We need to pick up the speed, and 7 players have reached the entry streak of 4. All right. Video impressive in any weather, including
Hey Tyler, this is Esmeralda from Honda. I just wanted to give you a quick video on the Mazda.
So my daughter was in New Hampshire a few weeks ago, and they were saying it's a snowy day. We're not going to be able to do walk-around videos. And what was amazing about it was this young lady said, I'll do a video. And once she went out there and proved it, and the guest was able to see the level of effort that was put into it, the guest became way more engaged with the salesperson, and all of the salespeople got to see that customer come in that afternoon and buy that vehicle more as a reward because of the effort that was put into that. And if you live in the Northeast or in the mid-north, you're in a situation, obviously in Colorado, that's more the norm than anything. So we need to make sure we do a really great job with videos in all weather conditions. So it looks like most of you all bid on that, and any weather conditions make all the difference in the world. All right. To enhance the buying experience of your dealership, you should focus your investment in what? We're starting to read about them. We're starting to hear about them. Digital kiosk. And it's amazing how effective that is. But you go into a dealership, and the first thing the principal wants to do is to show you the furniture in the lounge. Or look at these chairs that we've got. Or now I was at the Consumer Electronics Show back in January. Charlie and I were out there, and it's amazing. We're really going to see robots for salespeople showing up on the floor. So get ready. we're really in a position now to where if digital kiosk and self-service really start to make its way into automotive, we're going to have to change the dynamics of our sales operation, and most of you are already there. All right, Mike P., you're holding on, buddy. Let's see if you can get these next two questions. Modernize and accelerate your sales experience with what? So I noticed that there's Red Bull at the table, and I assume that Tim probably was responsible for that. But tablets for salespeople are becoming more and more the norm. We're going to hear Alan Crutch tomorrow talk about speed thrills and how we need to have a 1-hour sales process on the floor. Well, one thing that we're noticing is the speed of the transaction increases the gross of the transaction and the satisfaction of the consumer and the dealerships we work with. So if you're not doing your own internal study on the speed of the transaction and the utilization of different technologies, you really are in a position to where there's a huge opportunity in front of you. All right. Ooh, Mike, you slipped, buddy. Go Tribe. Must be someone from Cleveland is what I'm guessing. Mike P. is number 2. Gary, climbing, soup, and up 13 places. Gambler is the highest climber. Last question. Tim Jackson is. And I didn't know when I took that picture off Tim's Facebook page that that's Charlie. He's in the picture with me. So all of those answers are correct. Don't we agree? Let's give it up for Tim. All right. So guys, the bottom line is you've got to outsmart, you've got to outwork, and you've got to outperform with a mixture of artificial intelligence and human intelligence. We're hearing all about AI. Guys, stronger than AI is the HI that developed it. When we can merge those together, that's when we're going to have a phenomenal environment for us to grow retail, sell more cars, and make more money. That's all I've got today. I'll turn it back over to Charlie. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was great. And for those of you, I had a couple quick translations. So all you all is everyone. So that's, it made me think about the bots and talking about in a regional or conversational way, how do you incorporate and maybe filing on with what Joe said, how do you have the more natural conversation going along with that?
Well, sure, because a lot of people confuse me. They think I'm from New Jersey, and I have to tell them I'm from Kentucky. So.
Or you could say South New Jersey, because you have that South true. Part to that. Yes. And then the call guides was an interesting add-on also, because, again, bots, robots, you even say the industrialization, or the correct word is, I know something else, but we all know when we get involved in a process that we hate it when we're feeling like we're getting forced down a certain channel or forced in a certain direction. Call guides, again, the keyword guides, can you just talk about, giving a little bit of leeway to the sales force that...
Yeah, and I think the whole essence of a call guide, Charlie, is probably what you and I have experienced it. And I went to, when we were at the Consumer Electronics Show, I went to the Zappos headquarters, and I would encourage all of y'all, next time you're in Las Vegas, to try to go to Zappos Shoe Company and take a tour. They have lines out the door when someone is applying for a job to be in the call center. And what's amazing about it, Charlie, is they use call guides, but they let the employee put their own personality. If you go to their desk areas, they've got all these decorations. So we can humanize it while giving them a pathway, and definitely the Zappos employees follow a call guide. They've got a regimen, but they get to bring their personality.
And you know what? I know the Toyota management program starts their at the call center. They yes. begin, and some of them for several months. And
it's impressive.
They learn to appreciate it. I was going to say hate it, but I think appreciate is
the
correct
word. They do learn to appreciate it.
And then finally, on the weather choices from California, I didn't see earthquake and wildfire as a weather choice, so you might want to add that in the Q&A next time. Thank you very much.